We have a new reminder for JCPS parents this snow season. There will be no delayed openings for the school district because of weather. JCPS made this big change in December, implementing the new go or no-go approach. If in-person classes are canceled, JCPS will notify families whether it will be a traditional snow day off, or an NTI, remote learning day. But again, there will be no 1 hour or 2 hour delays any longer. Louisville Metro Public Works getting into place right now as we're talking to you, preparing to jump in where needed if roads become slick tonight. Sal Melendez with Metro Public Works believes the winds will actually help dry the pavement before we see those really freezing temperatures. Starting at midnight, though, snow team members are ready to spread salt on the overpasses, the ramps, and other slick areas. And now tonight, only on the WHAS 11 night team. WHAS 11 News has learned that a state takeover of JCPS is once again on the table, and an alternative Kentucky Republican lawmakers are actually weighing. Today in an interview, Senate President Robert Stivers told our senior reporter, WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez, that it's one plan Republicans are looking over to potentially fix the problems within JCPS.
Governance, division, additional mandates and criteria on them. There's more than one way.
The word governance referring to the state takeover, a concept that caused major controversy in 2018 under the administration of Governor Matt Bevin, and that Superintendent Marty Polio is against. WHAS 11 Night Team's Alex Dieterer has local reaction to these new surprise comments.
A potential state takeover of Jefferson County Public Schools. It's deja vu for former JCPS school board member Sam Corbett.
I was stunned.
JCPS endured a lengthy battle in 2018 under the administration of Republican Governor Matt Bevin. A takeover was being pushed. The 4-month-long give and take ended when the Kentucky Board of Education voted against it.
But you really haven't heard anything since then.
But now, for the first time in an interview with our Isaiah Kim Martinez, Senate President Robert Stivers says a takeover is an alternative.
But there's other alternatives out there that could be placed on a system that is not performing.
So the conversation of a state takeover has re-entered the conversation.
On the periphery, but not a leading alternative, but that's an alternative.
Corbett remains a skeptic that this alternative would benefit the school district.
In my 30-plus years of being engaged with JCPS in various ways, I saw more community interest, more community concern, more community conversation around that issue than any other issue I've seen.
Corbett emphasizes that the challenges being felt within JCPS won't be solved just internally. The district needs to look outside of itself and ask community members for answers.
The people within JCPS, the leadership, the administration, the elected school board, need to recognize they've got challenges, they've got problems, and then in turn reach out to the community and ask the rest of us to help them.
Corbett says the conversation back in 2018 created concern and disarray.
Do you think that we could be back in a place that we were back in 2018?
No question about it. No question about it. It was so divisive. President Stivers is a very influential, very good legislator. So for him to throw that out really sends a message to me.
And while divisive, JCPS could be heading that way once again 5 years later. In Louisville, Alex Dieterer, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
And the president of the Jefferson County Teachers Association, Brent McKim, tells WHAS 11 News tonight that the association stands with the superintendent and does not believe a state takeover of JCPS would be in the interest of the students. We did reach out to JCPS for a comment today, but they did not get back to us as of news time. At the same time, a bill was filed in Frankfort today to, quote, shake up the Kentucky Board of Education. Senate Majority Whip Mike Wilson of Bowling Green wants to strip the power from the governor on appointments to that board. Right now, the 14 school board members are appointed by the Kentucky governor. Under this bill, the Board of Education would be elected. Wilson says the board has control over nearly half of the state's budget, and the power to select those members he believes should be by the people. It would also give the board voting power to remove a member for misconduct. All new tonight at 11, a well-known Louisville celebrity chef is in the Metro jail tonight, charged with 2 felonies. Darnell Ferguson, known as Super Chef, was arrested today, according to jail records. His charges include felony burglary and strangulation, plus a misdemeanor assault of domestic violence with minor injury. The chef just announced his show Super Chef Grudge Match was renewed for a second season on the Food Network. But he vaulted into the spotlight after first opening his popular Super Chef's restaurant in Louisville. He announced last February that the one on Bardstown Road was closing. Ferguson is expected to return to court on the new charges next Wednesday, January 17th. New documents exposing more scandals surrounding the former Clark County, Indiana Sheriff Jamie Knoll. This time, investigators say Knoll had a child with the former county council member Brittany Faree, and that he paid her child support many times out of the Volunteer Firefighters Association funds or the New Chapel EMS money. Faree served on the Clark County Council from 2019 to 2022. Knoll paid over $25,000 in child support and did not declare that on his taxes. It's unclear how much of that money ultimately came from his businesses. Right now, Knoll is charged with 15 felonies, including corrupt business practices. A judge in Nelson County has agreed to lower the bond of the third man arrested and charged in the Crystal Rogers murder case. Steve Lawson is charged with a conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence. Lawson was in court late last week. His attorney is asking the court to lower his bond from $500,000. His attorney argued that he would have trouble even posting a $20,000 bond. Well, the judge decided today to go ahead and cut his bond in half. It now stands at $250,000. With the conditions of a curfew and no contact with the Rogers family or other defendants in the case, including his own son, Joseph Lawson, the first man arrested in the mystery of her disappearance. Now tonight, a story you'll only see on WHAS 11 News. New details released in court documents in the lawsuit pitting the Louisville Urban League and its former president in a battle over her firing. For the first time, we are hearing the Urban League's answer in response to the question, why did they fire Kish Kumi Price? Price took over as president and CEO of the Louisville Urban League in November 2022 from Sadiqa Reynolds. 4 months later, the league's board fired Price in March of 2023. 2 months later, Price filed a lawsuit. She claims the Urban League fired her in retaliation after she pointed out alleged mishandling of millions of dollars of money in the organization. Well, WHAS 11 team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Ad Hill have been looking over the court documents today, and there's a lot in these early documents. What did you find, Taylor?
Well, Doug, the league had to answer written questions as it's part of the lawsuit. At one point, they are asked to state each and every reason why they fired Price. In the court documents, the Urban League says Price was fired for multiple reasons. The league cited her failure to perform her job duties, including her failure to communicate with the league's team.
Just months after a circuit court judge ruled Dr. Kish Kumi Price is allowed to continue her lawsuit against her former employer, the Louisville Urban League, court documents showed the league's board of directors unanimously voted to terminate Price for several reasons. Terminating the employment of a key member without input from or notification to the league's board of directors. The league explained how Price created an unhealthy and hostile work environment for staff, hiring people who were unqualified for positions, including staff who had previously worked for the league that were ineligible for rehire due to past performance issues. The league wrote Dr. Price was rarely in the office and was often unavailable. On Tuesday, March 14, 2023, a leadership member met with Price where they shared their concerns about her lack of leadership. That same week, court documents show Price invited her husband to address the staff. The league wrote he did it in a threatening manner. Court documents also show 3 written statements where Dr. Kish Kumi Price's attorney asked the league to admit if Sadiqa Reynolds was employed under the league while Price was CEO. They responded with deny to each statement. A few months ago in September in court, WHAS 11 News was there, and this is what Price's attorney Tom Coffey had to say about the accusations.
Places like the Urban League are granted a lot of deference, but it comes at a price. You can't fire Dr. Price because she's trying to do the right thing. You can't do that.
And tonight I talked to Dr. Price's attorney Tom Coffey about the responses. He sent me this statement. The Urban League specifically told Dr. Price it did not terminate her for cause, and then it files interrogatory answers listing causes for firing her. The Urban League has completely contradicted itself and is digging a deeper and deeper hole for itself in its desperate attempt to avoid liability. I welcome the Urban League to continue to make contradictory statements in court, and we'll continue to follow this case closely. Taylor Woods, WHAS 1119, on your side.
Okay, Taylor, thank you very much. In his 8th and final State of the State address for Indiana tonight, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb took the time to thank Hoosiers who voted for him in the past 2 terms. His address taking the tone of a goodbye.
I will regard the privilege of having served as your governor as the honor of a lifetime. With all my heart, I thank you for it.
He focused on what's changed in Indiana since he took office in 2017. Holcomb pointing out the state's GDP has grown over $150 billion. Much like Kentucky, Indiana is becoming known for its manufacturing. Last year, the state won 3 federal partnerships, from electronic hubs to biotech manufacturing to 2 electric battery plants. But when it comes to things Indiana needs to change, education was top of the list.
We must improve policies around 3rd grade reading to make sure that every child masters this essential skill. We must prepare our students for a digitally driven world by requiring computer science to graduate from high school.
As for what's ahead in 2024 for Indiana, Holcomb wants to dust off some ideas that have been on the drawing board, including a state-of-the-art law enforcement academy and the first new state park lodge in Indiana since 1939.